Welcome to the SEO show. That's all, folks.
Cartoon Graveyard, baby, no.
All right, so that is another Call Me Out cover. Obviously, if you're watching, it was done with the sitar Rona Beer Lahiri from 2 months ago. Rare. We've never seen that on the show.
A little instrument, and to hear the sound of that thing, it just blows my mind.
It is cool. I've never played a sitar. Have you ever touched one or played one?
I've seen one. I don't think I've ever played one. I don't think I've ever had the pleasure, and I've
Yeah.
never been to India.
Yeah. So this is That's All, folks. I'm Ryan Manning. This is my brother Zach Ari Manning.
Hey, you can call me Zach Show Live. Some of you guys might know me.
So we wanted to do another. I don't know if this is going to be an SEO show. This may be like a poop day scoop, but this
SEO show is Poop They Scoop.
basically is a poop day. Well, a poop day scoop, if you're a long time listener, is just that we talk about whatever comes on our mind. There's no structure at all. But we did actually talk for about 5 minutes before the show and wrote down some things that we want to talk about. So this is going to be. I think this will be an SEO show, but
that's more prep than we've done in years.
That's true. Yeah. I sometimes write things down, but it's true. It's true. But so, yeah, we're going to talk about some of the trends that are going on. We're going to talk about Signalgate. We're going to talk about the Severance finale. We're going to talk about the ChatGPT new image generation update. Phrases that are annoying us lately. I said that. I told Zach I put some Mio, some iced tea Mio in my water bottle, and I said I'm in my iced tea Mio era, and then that reminded me that the phrase "I'm in my blank era" is just annoying the shit out of me lately, and so we're gonna go through some more phrases that are annoying the shit out of us lately. So, what should we start off with?
I mean, I think you're firing on all cylinders here right off the bat. So. I mean, let's just go right into the phrases. You seem to have a lot of aggression there, and
I actually do have a lot of aggression. I mean, in my blank era, I think I've been seeing a lot of shirts. It's mostly I see shirts, and I saw them at Target actually for sale.
Shirts with phrases?
Well, no, I'm talking about specifically I'm in my blank era. I feel like that's, if you want to just start on talking about that, I'm talking like... Oh. I'm in my dog mom era. That's a shirt I've seen everywhere. I'm in my mama era is a shirt I saw yesterday. And it was just like a mom. You could tell it was a new mom. And she's like, I'm in my mom era. I'm in my mama era. You know, it's... What annoys me about these phrases?
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
What do I think it is about these phrases?
Well, like, do you have any that annoy you right now? Any like, popular sort of catchphrases that are going around?
I actually do. And I think this is one that's been around for quite some time. I bonded over the hatred of this phrase with our mother, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
And the phrase was, "Are you having fun yet?
Are we having fun yet? Is that
are
we having fun yet?"
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Hold on, Mom. Is that what the phrase is that we hate? Are you having fun yet? Are you having fun yet?
Oh, it's are you having fun yet?
Oh, it's we? Is it we or you?
It's we. What I've been familiar with is we. Because, well, the weird thing is that's sort of like been out there for a long time. I feel like it's like since like the 80s or something. I feel like it was from something.
Definitely.
But like, if you've watched the show Parks and Rec, and one of the main characters of Severance, who's on Parks and Rec, I'm talking about big head guy. What's his name?
I don't know where you're getting at.
The main actor, the lead actor of Severance.
Yes, I'm aware. Adam Scott.
What's his name? Adam Scott. Adam Scott on Parks and Rec. He plays a character.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Oh wait, no, fuck! It's not Parks and Rec. It's
Party Down.
What's the other? Party Down. Adam Scott on Party Down. He is like a failed actor that only had one famous commercial, and everybody knows him from it. And his catchphrase on that commercial is "Are we having fun yet?" And then everybody sees him in his real life and says that phrase to him, and it annoys the shit out of him. So it's kind of weird. It's already been a phrase that has been hated in media. It's weird that you're hearing it lately. Why are you hearing it?
I would say that it's something that people say in our industry, the industry of nursing.
Right. Zach's a
But for
nurse.
me,
People
it's
should know
people
him more.
directing it at me. It's, are you having fun yet? And it's like, what
Right.
the
It's
fuck do you say
basically
to that?
it's some well
No,
because it's I guess
motherfucker.
you're saying it's annoying you specifically probably because it's said when something really annoying is happening, right?
Basically, yeah.
It's like someone
So you're
shits
already
on the
pissed.
ground and you have to clean it up, and then
Yeah,
your fellow nurse is like, "You having fun yet?"
literally.
Yeah, that would I would want
Yeah,
to fucking
so,
shoot them in the head if they said that to me.
oh my God.
I would want to
Okay.
fucking exterminate. I would want to get one of those guns that you euthanize a sheep with, a goat with, and fucking blast them in the head. Which brings us to the Severance. No, we should get let's. That's a little tease for the Severance finale. No, but the other phrase that I'll say that has been annoying me lately is the blank of it all. So like they'll be like talking about, so let's say we're talking about the government, right? We're saying like, everything's crazy and like the people, we don't really know what's going on with the Trump of it all.
Right.
The what else? The Elon
I
of it.
guess I
Like
haven't heard that
it's
one.
I think I'm just surrounded by like more media people, and I feel like media people eat up these new phrases quicker than everyone else because they're just excited to be able to say something else and to like I don't
Yeah.
know. I really feel like words spread faster with the media people because they're just very online. They catch it. It's more like the words are like little
That's the part of the
diseases.
job.
It is part of the job, kind of.
You gotta stay up on that shit.
The
But I would say other phrases, nothing
Nothing
that's
else
really
is
annoying me,
annoying
just
you
us.
lately? I mean, we could talk. I feel like I've said before the phrase that's not currently annoying me because it's kind of dying out, but I did hear it recently and it annoyed the shit out of me. It was is the nothing burger. This story turned
What?
out to be a real nothing burger.
These are so specific to you. I've never
I
heard
think
that.
I can't believe you don't hear these things, but I think I listen to just like way more podcasts and especially news podcasts. And so like news podcasts,
Definitely.
they'll be like so like we're gonna talk about Signalgate. I think the people involved with Signalgate are hoping that the news would come away from this thinking this was a real nothing burger. Like we thought it was a big story, but actually turned out to be nothing. And for some reason they call it a nothing burger. I don't know what the origin of that phrase is, but I get annoyed when I
I
hear
would
it.
say that the birth of that phrase is probably around the same time that the burger was invented.
I don't think so. I think it was. I feel like it. I feel like for some reason I want to say it was around when Awesome Sauce was popularized,
Mm.
which is around the same time that Parks and Rec was on TV. So I want to say it was a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. And what I'd like to say now though is there is one phrase that I actually am enjoying that it's strange. It's strange that like a new word doesn't annoy me. And I think I attribute it to the fact that the first person I heard say it was Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I've, Bill Burr has been on a real, like, encouraging the killing of CEOs, like, fuck Elon Musk. He's been really, like, the hero of the left lately for just calling out everything that he hates and very explicitly being sort of bravely calling them out. He just thinks it's being funny. That's what he's claiming. But yeah, so I've been watching a lot of Bill
He's a damn
Burr's clips.
hero, is what he is.
He's at least stirring shit up, which,
Yeah, no,
like,
I agree. I
a common
appreciate what
thing
he's doing.
definitely, and a common thing that like people on the left are saying now is that the left are like toothless, like they are all talk, barely even talk. And so for Bill Burr to like confidently call out hypocrisy and make fun of people that way, he's the hero that we all needed. And here's the phrase: yapping, yapper. I'm gonna yap. Hey, you want to yap for a little bit? Yeah, I could be a real yapper. Well, they're over there yapping, and I feel like the rise. I looked this up like a month ago. There was actually an article written about the rise of yapping from 1 year ago, but I
Mm.
hadn't heard it until about like a month or 2 months ago, and I swear it hit like a fucking tsunami. Like everyone was saying yapping suddenly. Bill Burr was the first person I heard, but within like 2 days, I heard everyone else saying yapping, and I don't know what it is about it, but I do like the sound of the word, and I think I like to yap. That combined, those two things combined, yapping, I think I like it. I'm glad it's here.
That's another one that like I'm just kind of on a different.
You haven't heard that at all.
I'm on a different
Yapper.
plane. Not really. Maybe slight. I've heard it here and there, but nothing that would call attention to me noticing it.
That
So
is interesting to hear because I've heard it so everywhere, and it's not like it didn't exist before, but I just got a warning that said your phone's storage is low, Zach. So it might. I don't know when Zach may not have enough record. All right, guys. Sorry, we're back. Looks like we're in our glitch era. I mean, apologies, apologies for the hard drive of it all, but
yeah.
turned out you thought you were going to tune into a podcast, but it turned into a nothing burger of a podcast. But
You thought this
hey,
was gonna be a car. You thought this was gonna be a cartoon graveyard, and it turned out to be a
more like a live action mausoleum.
yeah. You said it. So people say things, and sometimes we don't like them, and that's okay.
It's actually not okay. But yeah, if you do you want to get to the heart of like why I hate it, I actually don't know. I think there's just something inside me that like whenever everybody's doing something, there's something inside me that's like that's not cool. I think that's would you call that is that the hipster gene?
I think that's the I don't know. It's just sometimes the greater group is not what you want to be correlated with,
But you would think
and
I would want like you would think are there certain people you think that have the very opposite gene where like when something's very popular
yeah.
they can't wait to like be a part of it and say it and that makes them feel like a part of something
Yeah,
larger than themselves and feels like good to them.
think that's the I think that just comes down to culture and words and phrases. That is culture. So
Yeah.
I think everyone wants to belong, whether or not you want to belong to the majority or the minority or, um, what have you. If you're red, if you're blue, if you're in the middle. I don't know.
Yeah. I
It's
think I think it may be like internalized hate or something like in like a
I will say
mistrust
that
of
I would say that I like knowing what the current slang is, and sometimes I do want to use a slang that is a younger man's slang, and I think that's just some people might be annoyed with somebody saying like, "Yo, that shit's mid," and like you're sus at that point. You become sus because it's like, why is this 30-plus-year-old
right.
guy dropping like
The word
Gen
sus.
Z, maybe Gen whatever the one is younger than that. If they're calling you a skibbity toilet, you might be a little bit confused.
I do like the phrase skibbity. It's not like everybody everywhere is saying skibbity toilet, but I do like the way the word sounds. Oh, you brought out the good bong.
Yeah, actually, this reminds me, like the maker of this thing, like their house burnt down, I'm pretty
I
sure.
saw that. I actually saw that. Yeah, we follow them on Instagram. I saw them standing in their like empty plot where I
Well,
guess everything used to be.
right.
Nonian. I can't remember
I
the name.
saw
It's
that.
spelled weird. It's kind of hard to
Mm.
spell. Do you remember Ninioin? Nini. It's
I
got a
I
lot of
just
vowels.
I thought it was Nini. I just called him Nini.
I would like to shout them out because their stuff is really good. But
Yeah, so
yeah,
I mean that brings us to our next topic. The tides are changing. The weather is changing. Global warming. We're getting all these cuts in funding to uh, to our parks, and whenever we start cutting funding to our parks to the environment, then you got a problem with me because
really.
our what's that?
What cuts are actually happening? Do you know? Do you know the specifics of that? Like I heard that
Just
there were like people talking about it, but I didn't know what the exact things that were going
it,
on were.
it was just government jobs that were in like the park service, like the National Park Service jobs were cut because the funding was cut, right? So
Is it just the funding
they
for national
eliminated
parks in general?
essentially
Oh my god!
essentially you're
But
firing
like,
workers, so you're
you would think that like right wing people would like the parks and want to like keep the
that's
parks funded,
that's
right?
that's kind of what I thought, but I think these more right wing, like wealthy people, don't really care.
They
They
don't
really
go
don't because
outside.
they're not the type of people that are spending time in those places. So they don't probably even know if we took a bunch of those type of people and brought them there, they would be like, actually, we don't want to like take away money from this. Like, I don't know.
Or do you think they think like we do like this, but the government isn't handling it well? A private owner will handle Yosemite better. Is that probably the thinking of, or
I
some mix
think
of the
that,
two?
well, nobody knows what exactly.
What
I don't
elongated
know.
muskrat's thinking?
I don't know what all is being cut, but I know that there's funding to be cut, and there's areas that were previously restricted, but now there's a significant chunk of national forest that is going to be logged and cut. So, I mean, like they're going to hit all the national forests before the national parks, but they're going to start trying to cut the national parks off too. So, I just think that if there's one thing that I would fight for, it's for preservation of our parks, because that is the one thing we got going for us as a nation.
It's America's greatest idea, as Ken Burns said. Yeah, I really don't get that. I mean, that bites. I'd like to know more about that before I say anything about it, but I know it was like that last time. Like they started drilling for oil, and I think like Monument Valley, I believe, was like one of the places that was deregulated or whatever at the end of the last Trump term, and then like Biden re-protected it. So yeah,
What
it
was it?
fucking sucks.
What are you talking about? What's protected?
Monument Valley. Yeah,
I
apparently
can't
there's
remember
lots of
where
oil
that
there.
is, but
I think it's Arizona, possibly Utah.
Utah sounds right. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that, exactly what happened with that, but I mean, I just think that that brings us to,
Our first
Signal Gate.
sponsored segment. Oh, I thought you were going to say this is the Spark Up, brought to you by Bic. That would be sick to be sponsored by Bic.
I'm thinking that for some reason I want to say are they allowed to advertise? Like, are they like treated in the same category as like cigs? Because you don't see
It's good.
Bix advertised, but maybe they don't need it.
No, you do. No, you do, because this specific brand was like popularized by Snoop Dogg, and who's the lady that like the lady that went to jail? Oh, it's Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg promoted these lighters as like Martha was like they're good for lighting candles, and Snoop was like, yeah, right, candles.
He's like, yeah, I like a big fat candle.
That's exactly what it was like. That was the commercial. They're called like Bic like In Reach or something like that. Or, I don't remember.
They should just call it a big Bic. So, I mean,
Oh yeah, do you want
let's
to talk about?
in
Do you want to talk about Signalgate? Let's talk it. I
Signal
mean,
Gate.
what do you? Should we? You want to do the summary? What happened?
Yeah, sure. So, Signal Gate. What happened? What happened essentially, I'm going to try to break this down as concise as possible. Because if you want to know the details, you look it up, you'll find plenty of videos, but
Most people tune into our podcast for the details, for like the hard nitty gritties.
well, we're going to give you the hard-hitting details, and you can dig into the sub notes. Basically, military a military attack, essentially. Those details of that attack, of the U.S. attack, airstrike, I believe, on Yemen of the Houthi rebels.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't know what the Houthis were until this week.
I saw the
Did
video
you?
of no, but anyway, the details of this chat were being discussed in a group chat on this app called Signal. Apparently, I've never heard of this app, but apparently
I
it's
use
a
Signal.
privately. You're
I
familiar?
believe you. Oh yeah, no, I've had Signal for a long time. Signal is like the way that you communicate whenever you're like, I really don't want anybody to know about this. A lot of people buy drugs on Signal. A lot of people.
Ah,
It's where you do all illegal activity, because it's
didn't know
famously
that.
encrypted.
Did
Yeah.
not know that. Yeah. Anyway, so they're like these are leaders of like the I believe like Secretary of Defense, like people in military and people that are is it Congress people in that know shit
The
about
cabinet.
war, safety of our country, blah blah blah. I don't know the exact details of who these people are, but they're government officials under the Trump regime. I'm sorry, administration. Basically, they invited an editor of a well-known publication known as The Atlantic. They invited him into this chat, and he has information to these details of this attack. And essentially, it's a A privacy breach is what they're saying?
Security.
Security,
Security,
security
privacy.
breach, security breach, and everyone involved is acting like it's not a security breach when it clearly is, and they're just kind of just it's an interesting situation to say the least.
It's not a nothing burger, as they, like I said earlier.
No.
Everyone involved is saying, you guys are getting overhyped about this. It's a nothing burger. I don't know if anybody literally said that, but I wouldn't be surprised if anybody literally said that. Yeah. So I mean, basically, they invited this guy into the chat by accident. Like, it was just like they thought he was somebody else, I guess. Whoever it was supposed to be, it was someone else that had probably a similar initials or something like that. It got mixed up, and then they like planned to bomb. They were like, we're gonna bomb these guys. Should we bomb them? I don't know. It was like argument about whether they should do it now or do it in a month, and they eventually
People
were
are
like,
criticizing.
yeah, there was a
People are
criticism of Trump.
criticizing, and
You
so
cut out for a second. Did you say who are they criticizing? Was it Trump? Is that what you said?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then eventually, like, some guy, Stephen Miller, I believe, who's like, I don't know what the fuck his job is. He's been like around for a while as like one of the very evil Republican guys, but he was like, Trump said do it now, end of story. And then like they're like, all right.
Mike Waltz,
But
I believe.
I actually, you know what? This is the podcast where you get all the facts. So let's just be confident and say we're getting all the facts right here.
That's Mike Waltz, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, did I read anything about it? No. I listened to a podcast from The Atlantic where they interviewed the guy who got invited to the group chat. He was like, just one day he was just like, I was there. I was just like in this group chat, and he thought it was a spoof at first. He's like, this can't be real. But then as the days went on, he was like, this is too good to be, like, this is so authentic. And then eventually he was like, this is real, and told some other people, recorded everything that went down. And then he said after a certain point, he felt like this was wrong of him to even be in the chat. And so he like removed himself voluntarily, which, like, I don't know what you would have done. I think I would have stuck around until they literally kicked me out. I don't know.
Yeah. At a certain point, whenever you realize that you are like, quote unquote, like probably breaking the law in some way, or you shouldn't be there, he probably was just nervous for his own skin, and he already had the story.
There's some Spanish speakers behind me.
Yeah, they're talking about the playa.
I did hear that. That's like one of the only words I know.
That's a beautiful view.
Yeah, it's really nice here. I'm down in Manhattan Beach, North Manhattan Beach, just below El Segundo, right below all that. There's a bunch of factories, like water treatment plants and stuff. It's actually disgusting looking on the coast, like right north of me. It's like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that is really
like
ugly.
Below the airport. Yeah. Yeah, it's so ugly that you're like, it's kind of, there's a beauty in how ugly it is almost.
Yeah, well, pretty soon that's going to be the whole coast.
Yeah, actually. But so, wait, what did you just say before that? Sorry, before the playa.
I don't know. I just think.
Julie. Oh yeah, you were like, we were just saying like about the guy. He left. He stayed in the group chat too long. He decided to leave voluntarily. He might have been doing something illegal. I don't know. It was. He said when he described it, he was like a sense of like, this is wrong of me to be here. I saw what I needed to see. I'm leaving. It was sort of like an honor sort of thing.
Right.
Just purely like, this was a mistake that they added me, and I shouldn't be here, and this is wrong of a citizen to be in this position, blah blah blah. Which I wonder if he really does. Do you think this guy really had that much honor as he was describing?
I think it was probably based more on fear of sticking around too long, and him being like, he should have known that he shouldn't have been in there.
The longer he stays into, the more dirt he gets. You think he gets a target on his head, get fucking like knocked out?
I think so.
What is it?
Killed.
What's the mafia term?
Offed.
Yeah, I feel like there's another one.
Something about swimming with fishes.
Why is this Zerd eluding me? Knocked out.
He's
hit put on him.
Yeah,
assassinated.
Offed. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, that's
is that the word I'm looking for? Specifically mafia style, like outside the law, like oops, an accident, bad brakes in your car, shit like that. Like, I would be, honestly, if I were him, I would be fucking terrified of that happening to me. Yeah, like the longer I stay, the longer I am there, like the bad guy to them, and it's honestly a really scary time to be like a reporter in his situation.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You don't know what you're gonna get when someone's gonna decide that what you're saying is not okay, and they fucking shut you up or fuck you up.
Yeah, it's honestly that this in the thing that really sucks is that now we are policing ourselves because of the fear of that idea. Like the fear of
True.
death feels more real, like in a sort of like classic like Russian oligarchy, like people disappearing way. Like, you know, this stuff happens in other countries, and I guess now it's really actually fucking terrifying.
It's our turn
For what? Oh, to
to
just have that
be
style
to
of
live
like
in that.
reality. Yeah, it fucking sucks. I mean, it's been that way
Yeah,
to a point. Like, people have been shut up like in that way before, but
sort
not
of.
it hasn't been so. I don't think it feels so real, and it feels like, you know, a good portion of the population will like celebrate it even if they think it might have been true. Like, if there's enough
Definitely.
evidence like linking it to like some sort of like organized assassination, like a good portion of the population be like, you know what, go ahead. That's what we need to do. This country's more. You need to be more together. You betrayed the leader. It's scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say on that, but it's just a weird road that we're going down, and I
Do
think
we have any
we.
lighter topics after this, or should we talk more about just like the leak and like whether that was bad or not?
I
Like,
mean, I
they
think it
did
was good.
good that we got the information that they're using Signal to communicate, and that was like improper or whatever.
Just good that it's very clear that people are doing illegal shit and are not, and are just straight up denying it.
Yeah, and not only, and I think it is good that even the people that are like Republicans, especially people that are like into the idea of like war and defense and like needing to have like a strong military and security,
Hmm.
would look at this situation and still think that that's not a good idea, that they were using different communication methods outside the approved ones that are like super secure to do stuff like this, and the wrong person gets invited. Like, this is obviously, this is the story, is like this is the exact way that someone could accidentally get this info. Like, if this was not like a responsible reporter or whatever, like this could have been in the hands of the enemy and then like endangering
Right.
people's lives. It's just like, obviously that's the case. And yes, I will say like Signal is the best of these types of apps, but it's still like there are ways to like still read the screen of the phone. You know what I mean? Even if the messages are destroyed, people could just hack into your phone and look at your screen live. Like, there's different ways.
Right.
I listened to a couple. I'm regurgitating a couple things I've heard on a few podcasts about this, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, that was rude. I mean, I'm lazy, and so I understand why they wouldn't want to use the annoying government shit. It would bug the fuck out of me, which is why, yeah, on a human level, I relate to the laziness. But
Right, but
yeah,
it's at a level where you can't really just
yeah,
say whoops. Like, people need to take accountability, and it ain't happening.
yeah. You got anything else
Go
on that?
figure. Nah, I just don't.
I don't.
In other news, I mean, what
Anywho,
else? Yeah, yeah. Anywho,
okay, so we got Severance Finale. You want to talk that? We've talked about it, I think, like
yeah,
recently, and so I don't. It's going to be kind
we
of weird
did
to like.
talk about it in depth to regurgitate what's gonna happen. I mean, I guess you could say what your theory is first, because I think you had more of a little bit more fleshed out than I did.
A theory of what is going to happen next season.
I mean, I guess my whole thing with the ending was it was all right. I didn't love it, but I get it. That's kind of my take.
I agree, and I guess we should say spoilers. You know, you don't see this, you
Yeah,
haven't seen
big
this yet.
time.
We're going to talk
Big
specifically
time.
about what happened. I don't know. I'll make a marker, a chapter marker or something, saying where we are not talking about this anymore. But didn't blow my. I think I said I didn't blow my dick off my pelvis, but it was fine.
No, my dick was still fully attached. And that's the problem. Because after a season finale, you at least want it to be dangling by, I don't know, a pube, or at least a couple filaments of skin.
Yeah, or just like nut sack ripped in half, and it's just hanging by like a bit of the nut sack skin, and the two balls are
The
like
nut sack.
hanging out.
Maybe like
the actual sack is gone and it's just like cords hanging with nuts.
Yeah, I think all I received was like a little bit of like singed pubes. I think from the finale.
Like just a little bit of rug burn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say other than, next season. I hope next season's better. That's all I hope for because I thought this season was boring and it was good, but it was more artful. It was more art. Like it was more like visually pleasing than the plot was interesting to me.
That's interesting you say that because although I think the cinematography was good, like my main criticism that I've said this before, I'll say it again. Not enough cool rooms. The goat room was cool. There were different rooms that they saw this season that were just kind of cool to see. Like that's like a weird, like this whole world. I'm curious about the whole underground world, and I was hoping that the goat room would lead to other whimsical rooms as I've described them. And we only got one other whimsical, maybe one or two other whimsical rooms in the season, and the one that I thought was good in the finale was the goat sacrifice room.
Absolutely.
It looked like did Jurodowski's, I'll insert, you know what I'm talking about, very colorful movie.
It reminded me something out of like Star Trek.
Jurodowski. Yeah, true. It was very clean. The Holy Mountain. You ever seen The Holy Mountain?
No.
It looked like, do you think we can watch anything? No, we can't do that. That's something I need to get good at, is I need to be able to play media here. Do you think if I share my screen, it'll share the audio too? Folks, if you're watching this, this is me trying to figure out Riverside. How to get the best out of Riverside live.
Yeah, I mean,
I
don't know.
I liked... yeah, that room, it was very clean, it was futuristic, but then it was for murdering a goat. And so that was really... It was quite striking, and that was my highlight of the finale.
I think that they are going... It almost felt like they really didn't want to make any cool rooms. They wanted everything to be super, like, monotone. I feel like they're like, we just got to make the story so good that we don't need to show anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that it was bad. It was beautiful, honestly, really great set design, really nice. But when I got a taste of the goat room, I wanted more crazy rooms. You know what I mean? They opened up the door to the idea that there could be in this insane, whimsical world here, not just office building type stuff. And that was just funny to me. Like the idea that because innies don't know what the fuck reality is. And so whatever they're born into that's just normal. And so you could make some insane realities for these people. And it's like you control it's a complete laboratory experiment, and so you can just do I'm thinking the possibilities are endless with what kinds of environments and cultures you put these people into. And so I thought they were going to come across just all kinds of wacky types of people that are just different experiments of ways of controlling and manipulating people. If this is not the show, then maybe this is a good show.
Yeah,
maybe this is a different show, but
yeah, we'll see what
season 2. I heard season 2 they hired all different writers. They hired a new writing team. So my theory is it's going to be, and this is what I think is a good theory or a good idea if the case is same world, different characters. So we get maybe new innies, new story, new sort of dynamic from a different angle that maybe the characters from this season intersect at some point, or the first 2 seasons intersect at some point. But I think season 3, it's going to be a swerve to a different direction in a big way, because just the evidence of hiring a whole different writing team.
I think it might had something to do with the background of Kier. It's going to be more so the history of Kier type shit.
You think so?
I don't know, I just thought that now.
That's actually
so it's going to be
prequel.
It's going to be that scary fatter guy, and maybe Helena will be in it
as a young kid.
Maybe, I have no idea. Yeah,
I feel what's her name?
Miss Cobell.
I think possibly Cobell's childhood, designing the fucking chip thing, the brain chip, that sort of time period.
I also thought that maybe it would follow Miss Wong into a kid's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think that's a
more
good
like
theory too.
preteen version. It's like the
It's like
PG.
it's like a show like on like the CW. It's like a teen drama.
It comes on after Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea for it to like just completely change genres. That'd be like a wild thing for a show to do. I've never seen that happen. I was telling was I talking to you the other week, like the other day, about how like Boba Fett, the first season of Boba Fett on Disney turned into just another season of The Mandalorian, like second half of the season.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
And that to me also was like one of the crazy, I guess it's all in the Star Wars universe, but like it basically was like you thought you were watching one show and now you're watching another show. It's like you thought you were watching Family Matters and suddenly it's Kimmy Gibbler's here and there's now a Full House episode. Like that's kind of crazy that happened, and then it's just the rest of the season was Mandalorian. But I'd say that that's the kind of shit that actually does blow my mind when shows really break the mold like that.
I think that we're ready for it.
We are. I think like the fucking multiverse shit that's happening everywhere, which I kind of find annoying, but I think that also preps people for that kind of stuff.
Interesting. Yeah.
The multiverse, that's something I kind of want to think about, like do like maybe some sort of longer form piece on, is the fascination with the multiverse over the last like decade or two. Like it both is like a real thing, I guess, in physics. Like they think it's real. And I think it's also like there's something to do in our culture that like the fascination with like multiple possibilities and like identities and like being online, allowing people to like explore different parts of themselves and like fracturing identities, the ability to like be multiple different identities and be enmeshed in many different cultures and be one person, I think maybe aligns with this idea of the multiverse, the fascination with the multiverse. It resonates in a cultural way too. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting place that I think cinema is getting to, because people are getting less. People want more. They want to live in that world. They want to be a character in that world. They want to, integrate into that world. And I think we're getting to a point where, you can live in a reality. You go, in a way, we are living in these severance type of communities online.
His idea, do you think that was his? That's true. Do you think that was his original sort of idea for this show? Was like the feeling of
like
his
living in
identity being fractured,
isolated? I don't know what the original idea was. I think it probably was originated from like wanting to like not remember like what's going on at work. I think that probably was the original idea, because everyone hates work for the most part, except Gary Vee. Except Gary Vee, that's kind of it, actually.
True.
And
do you think, I'm sure this information's out there though, right? Like this, have you ever looked at, have you listened to like podcasts or anything with like the writers or whatever? I haven't. Maybe I'll find this out. I'm sure it's exactly what you said.
Have I looked into what exactly?
Just like the origins of the Severance, like what was the original like
No,
I don't even know who
idea.
wrote it. Was it Ben? Was it the Stiller? Or did he
no.
buy this? Okay.
It was a spec script that somebody had sent to him, like randomly, or sent to his people, but like he didn't write it. He just read it.
Oh. For some reason,
like,
I was thinking like this is from the mind of Ben.
I thought it was too, but just the directing mind, and I think he definitely had to put his own stamp on it, from what all the actors say. But yeah, I mean, good show, but some people think it should just end, and so maybe
that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I was agreeing. Me and a few friends were like, the show should just end. Kyle, our brother, was like, the shows should just end. Stop like just making them more and more complicated so you can go on forever. Like make a nice package, tie shit up, or just don't, just end it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so too. So that's why I think like maybe the major pivot to different story, same world would be a way to end this story and then start a new one without having to get as convoluted, possibly.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to do it, and to continue generating revenue with this brand that has come, almost synonymous with pop culture. It's a representation of a generation that's sort of fed up with their work.
I thought you were going to say it's become synonymous with Apple TV. Like Apple is so successful. But yeah, like Apple, they made a bunch of crap for like, I don't even know how long they've been making shows, but this is the first one I've tuned into.
Yeah, it's almost like they we're putting out on Apple, it's almost like it was crapple. And I hate to be crass, but you know, it is what it is. And that's kind of the world we live in, especially politically. You know, we can be crass, we make fun of people, we use the F word.
I'll bleep
So
that though. So we
okay,
can still
thank
have
you.
this on YouTube Kids.
Good, good. And that is going to bring us to our next topic, which is
GPT, the new image generation thing. And I think
I
I
don't know
do.
anything about this.
I'm gonna have to. We're gonna have to like restart because I need to share my screen with you to show you some of my generations. So with
Okay.
that, because
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I still have the soundboard if anybody remembers from last time. Oh, we should formally apologize for last time, like really about the clickbait about Donald Trump. Trump pardoned Diddy. A lot of people mad at me about that clickbait. This is really buried
Get over
in the episode,
yourselves. Get over
no, but
yourselves.
it got a lot of views, and they were really mad. And I just want to say, did I play? Was that fair? What I did? No, it was a lie. So sorry.
I mean, it's just that's the game. That's the world we live in. You don't know what's real.
Yeah, it was clickbait. I'm sorry. Okay, I have to restart Chrome so I can share my screen with you. All right.
Okay.
It's click. Is the clicking still there?
Yeah.
That's okay. So if you're hearing an audio click, then you know whatever. I don't think I'll be able to remove that. Whatever. But this is so I can't share my screen. I have to update Chrome. I have to for multiple reasons. I can't share my screen. But I'm just going to show you some pictures that I made. This is supposed to be. This is okay. Here's a photo of me in second grade, right?
I thought that shirt looked familiar.
Yeah, so this is a real photo of me in second grade. And at first I told ChatGPT, this is the new image model. I said, age me up to my current age of 38. Like, this is a second grader. Just imagine what this second grader would look like at age 38. And this is what it did. So it's not going to be, and I was like, that's very strange. So then you can give it pictures of yourself, and I was like, I gave it pictures of me, and I said, just put me currently with that same haircut, those glasses, and that shirt, and everything, and then it did that.
Interesting. That's kind of crazy.
So I was feeding into it like some like drawings of, I do drawings with pen, and I put in some like old drawings. Like here's a painting I did in like 2007, right? This is kind of a classic. My grandma has it hanging up in her house. It's Benjamin Franklin chasing after a bunch of kites, looking like an anglerfish. So I put that into the model, and I said do like an oil painting of it, or I said like do this like real or something. And there's its variation on my original.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you look at the details of the kites, mine have a lot more expression, like they're running and shit like that, and that you can sort of see some like emotion on the individual kites on mine. Here, I'll just show you that. And the ChatGPT one doesn't really carry over the same like character, but the overall style pretty cool style.
Yeah, that is cool.
This was the one I really did like. This is a kind of an old drawing too. I'm 10 years old or something, but I put these are just these geometric, just like women, I guess. And I said, make that into the Gumby world. I said, put them in the world of Gumby.
That's cool.
It really is pretty cool, right? Like I was like, that's got a lot of character. I did the same thing with a similar sort of drawing, which was this one, similar sort of like geometric women, right? And now the clay version, I just wanted to see more of that Gumby world, Gumby women. There you go.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
So like you can do just some garbage ass doodles. I mean, these are good doodles, but then like honestly, like you should check it out. Like do a little doodle, and it can turn it real. Like I don't know if there's any other like. Oh, here's a very interesting one. I did a bunch of variations of this. This is an original like drawing that I did. I really like that one, but I said make that one real, and its first interpretation of make that real was so crazy.
Oh my god, that's awesome. That's actually
kind of
really
scary,
cool.
right? Yeah. So
Definitely.
I went through a bunch of those, and I sort of kept changing, like kept telling it to change the style. I think I told it to do it in the style of Wassily Kandinsky. And then eventually I made it, there's a couple other variations, but I landed on this one. I said I made it, make it very real, but I can't remember the exact like prompt, but pretty awesome, you know? It's got a certain look to it that still has the original energy of the original, but whole different vibe to it.
Yeah,
But
that's pretty cool. That looks like the cover of like a fucking electro pop album.
Here, as
I
an
could see
example
that
of like,
being-
you can take a really bad drawing, like this was just an idea that you would have like a bikini on your abs, right?
Yeah.
Like each a little like cup for each 6 abs, and so I kept trying to get it to generate like the real version of that drawing, but it couldn't not put a bra on the guy too. I kept trying to prompt it to like take the bra off, but it was like setting off its sensors. It was like, I can't do that. But I'm like, it's a man's nipples. Like, this is obviously like, you can do that. And he's like, I understand I can, but I keep running into a roadblock and I can't do this. And then so our way around it was he did eventually sort of produce it on a mannequin. So that is the Bikini. So like you can think of a fucking product, you know, if you're like a product designer, and you can draw something this fucking shitty and then crank out something that looks like it almost exists. You could see the detail like on the top of it. It's you could do a little Photoshop if you know, but like that's pretty crazy. That's really insane to me. Like, here's a really kind of a cool one. Some of these like weird exotic fish tanks, right? I said make that real.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty awesome. So I did a bunch more, but and I just put a video out on the YouTube channel that's all about AI art, and so like this stuff wasn't even out. But here's some drawings from like the early 19th century, or I think, of some sea slugs, and I said make that Pixar. I said like make it look like Pixar characters. This is a whole Pixar movie about sea slugs.
Wow, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
I like that a lot.
It's really like, there's a reason why people are kind of like AI art has finally arrived. Of course, the popular trend is making everything look like anime, specifically Studio Ghibli, like Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, those movies. And there's a big argument right now over whether that's like theft or whether it's art, whether it's garbage, blah blah blah. If you're interested in that, I just put a video out on my YouTube channel that's like all asking real artists this exact question: how do they feel about it? And then the second half, I go and rip off their art using an AI generator. I ingest artists' art and make knockoffs of their art with them involved, and it's pretty cool. It's a really good video.
Definitely check it out. You'll learn something. You'll maybe be touched by just people. When you get out there and talk to people, you hear what they have to say, and you might disagree with them, or you might agree with them, and you might find out that, you know what, you're not as different, you know, at the core. So it's just fun to get out there and talk to people.
Yeah, and it's like, it's basically a podcast, long form conversation, you know, with these artists, and it's like a hangout. So check it out. That's it. We got anything else on the docket?
I got one little thing I want to say, and that I am starting my own little garden.
I heard about
this. Really?
Well, you just told me you were going to get some different seeds.
Right. Yeah, so I got a couple things planted. I got eggplant, I got some lima beans, I got watermelon, basil, maybe like one other thing that I'm not remembering right now. But yeah, I'm growing some stuff. So I got the seeds done, and I decided while I'm at it, I'm like, you know what? I'm planning, like, I had an avocado pit. I'm like, I'm gonna plant this, I'm gonna get a tree. So I put my seed, cool. I just put it in a pot, and now it's just a waiting game, and I gotta go get some soil. So I think that's kind of gonna be I'm not gonna go big with it, but I'm probably in addition to that, my mango tree is producing 11 mangoes currently are still on the tree. So they're about as big as a walnut. And I encourage everyone to get out there and, you know, even if you have limited space, grow some type of food. If you have to put it in a pot, put it in a pot. You know,
here's Zach's mangoes.
It's not. I was trying to be like, here's my fist, but the scale and the shot, it actually made no sense.
Yeah, true. You would have to get your fist a little closer to the mangoes to like.
But the thing is, you're not supposed to touch them, because you could like hurt their like
Feelings?
growth if you touch them. Well, no, you're gonna hurt their you get oils and dirt on them that they're not really used to. So yeah, I encourage everyone to go out there and find a tree, I'm interested. You could get a mulberry, and within a year or less, it's gonna have berries on it that you can eat. So think about that. You should have like a small like bush that you keep in your space that you just like keep it trimmed down. And it's just like it's basically like a bonsai but like berry bush.
That would be
Or
really
like
cool. The
I
thing
think
is,
that's got to be a
I've
thing.
wanted I've wanted to have like a plant in the van, and like the thing is there's just like so many variations of temperatures in here. It's like it would fucking roast. There's almost no plant that could survive in here.
I was on mom's phone and it died.
Oh,
Yeah, just get out there and plant something and grow something. And I've been getting hit with like garden type YouTube shit so hard lately, and it's like it really gets me going. It makes me excited. I'm like,
I wish. I do love
damn.
I fucking love growing plants. I know living in a van, you can't grow a damn plant. I try to have the little pea plants, for a bit.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
pea, like the succulent, the pea string of peas,
yeah,
string of pearls. That's what it's called.
yeah.
But yeah, I understand why you got the bug. It feels good to have a bunch of plants, see them slowly grow. It has you a different sense of time. You know what I
True.
mean? Because you're like, the amount of time it takes for plants to change is so much slower, and like observing life on that scale is very peaceful to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's just weird. It's you learn patience and
All right. Well, are you taking us out to the mango? Oh, those are
there's the
these
seedlings.
seedlings.
There's
Anything
the
popping?
avocado and the seedlings. No, it's only about 4 days, 5 days old, was when I planted them.
That's cool. Well, how long do you think we've been recording?
I
It's
like
hard to say with all
45.
the stops. So
Yeah, I would say so.
this is probably the podcast. That's the end. Thank you for joining us. This is, I want to say, anybody who's sticking around, actually listening to this, I just wanted to get on the Riverside app and like record something with Zach so that we could like start to figure out how to use this shit. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And that's why it's been a fucking mess. But we will, I think we got to do this like
A
every
hot
week.
mess.
All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. I am going to, what are you going to do the rest of the day?
Probably just hit the weights. I'm looking like a fucking string bean with some fucking fat on them. I'm starting to kind of get like the more of like a traditional like nurse bod.
Which is,
Just unhealthy. Yeah, yeah. But it's the long hours. It's the long hours, and it catches up with you.
that really bites. I think I told you, I worked like a 9 to 5, like a few weeks, like 2 weeks ago. I went to a conference that was 9 to 5, and I was fucking wiped at the end of the day. Like just getting there on time
Yeah,
and leaving. It was, I don't blame anybody for not ever working out. It's honestly really hard if you work a regular job, it's really hard to work into your life, and people that do it, great work. I don't think I could.
yeah, yeah. Because for me, after a long day, I'm cooked.
Okay. I don't hate
I
cooked, I
will,
guess.
I will say a friend of mine has a podcast and it's called Cooked in the Comments. So
Hmm.
I got to give a shout out where they basically just watch videos and like basically commentary on content, and they just read the comments.
I like that. Sounds like a good concept.
Yeah, yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a comedian. He's on tour. Cole Garrett, check him out. He's touring around doing his thing.
We talked about remember our podcast we did like 2 years ago in defense of the comments section, where I was talking about sometimes the comments section is actually the content. Like the
Yeah,
content is just there so that the comments can happen, and like it's more about the reaction to the content. And so yeah,
yeah.
I like that a lot.
On that note, comment down below. Comment what you like. Comment what you didn't. Comment what you want to see next week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Ryan.
And this is Actual Live glitching out at the end of the video.
Yeah, I think you're frozen, but yeah.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I hit that by accident.
Oh
All
my
right,
God.
yeah. See you. We'll try to do it next week. We'll try to do this weekly.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be the same. We're gonna get better.
We'll get better. I thought you were going to say it's going to be exactly the same. No, I think we'll get better. I think we're going to do it every week so that we get it. I'm going to get we'll get the show looking real good.
Yeah, you'll see.
Or not. This is fine too, I guess.
I plugged it in.
Damn.
Thank you.